Welcome to Robot House. Steve's back, everybody. But we're not talking about Power Rangers this week. We're going to talk about the Last Jedi teaser that just came out, and a little bit about celebrations. Steve had a chance to go there for one day of the con.
It was not quite as exciting as I had hoped.
Yes. I had been planning to go. I'm kind of glad. I would have went on Friday actually, so I probably would have had a better time than Steve. But um, hmm. But it still doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know if you want me to even maybe just talk about my experience a little bit in general.
Yeah, because I'm sure not a lot of people have gone to celebrations. I mean, it was a very low key event until recently.
I mean, because it really, I mean, it wasn't. I probably made it sound worse than it really was. It's
Yeah,
just the fact that
they top loaded Friday from the sounds
it's
of it.
just. Yeah, I mean, between the fact that I just assumed that Saturday would be the biggest day, since a lot of people that work
Yeah,
the Monday through Friday stuff, that
most cons don't
Saturday's
even
usually.
have a Friday.
And so, I just assumed Saturday would be the best day to go, especially hoping that would be the day they did the trailer for the Last Jedi, but
Yeah,
of course not. But the big thing I think for Saturday was the season 4 of Rebels preview, but I haven't even seen any of it. So,
I still haven't
but
finished season 2 of Rebels.
what really bothered me was just the fact that the people that had that Jedi Master badge that you have to spend like $700 for the
Yeah,
weekend. I mean, you could still. I know you could bump up. You could buy a wristband, but from what I understood, I heard people talking about it. I think it would have at least been if $100 or more possibly for that day to add it on. So it was already $70 just for a single day. But it's just the fact that no matter what panel you're going to, that they let wristband people in first, and then you
yeah.
you get thrown into a standby queue, and then
See,
you're
I hate that. I mean, there's really no way around it, but everyone paid to be there. Like, have some exclusive panels, but don't cut off access to every panel to the guys who
yeah.
paid that money.
I mean, it's just the whole feeling of because they're just like super happy and nice to the people with the wristbands. Then they're just standing over there. So it's like, we're not guaranteeing you any space in here. And they
Yeah,
just, the way they treat you with that. And then you have all the people staring at you
yeah.
as they're walking in with their wristbands. And
I had
there was
a
some,
feeling that's why I didn't bother after all the 3 day passes were sold out.
I even had this girl that like she was asking what we were waiting for the one thing, and someone told her, and she's like, "Oh, she's like that sucks. I don't ever have to wait in line. Good luck, guys." And then she walked off to go in. So it's just
Oh my
the
god.
way that people kind of treated you, and the way that the staff treated you as like kind of second class citizens for not
Yeah.
having fancy badge just kind of makes me not really care. And it's like so the people that pay it are kind of justify it as like I paid the money, I deserve it,
Yeah, I
but.
mean, I don't blame the people that paid it. It's the con organizers that need to think this stuff through.
It's just not the really. I don't think. I think a lot of people would not see that as the best setup, and I think
Yeah.
that they don't care if you get fed up with the fact that you're not getting a good treatment because either you're going to come back the next year and pay the money, or you're not going to come back and you weren't a high-paying customer anyway, so
Yeah.
they don't care.
Which is
So,
ridiculous because if they know you, Steve, we've seen where your fandom can take you.
well, even with the exclusive merchandise for Celebration,
Yeah.
from what I heard people talking, I didn't even want to wait in the line. The line was insane to get even into their little store, but it sounded like most of the stuff was sold out in the first day.
Yeah. It's weird because actually I was at Toys R Us and they were having a sale on all their toys, Star Wars stuff in particular. They had the Force FX Kylo Ren saber for $30. I really regret not picking it up.
I don't even know how much those ones go for. I know that those Black Series ones are really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
The
assuming
Force
that's
Effect
even
lightsabers are usually 120.
oh, so it's sounds like it's yeah. I'm guessing they're probably not quite as high as the Black Series ones because I know that the Kylo Ren one I think like retailed like closer to $200, but
Yeah, it's probably not
that's
the
still
same, but yeah.
it's still probably like maybe like a step down because I saw some people that had different types of lightsabers and some of them still look pretty nice, so it's probably
Yeah.
those types.
It had collapsible, the two prongs at the end collapsed in on each other, so I don't think it was The Force FX, the super expensive ones, but it seemed like it was pretty close. But my bargain bin stuff probably isn't as important. um,
I did watch a lot of the panels that I didn't get to see though. They had them either live streaming or that some people uploaded them later. So there was some nice panels to watch. They did like a whole tribute to Carrie Fisher and things like that.
Well, that's good.
Mark Hamill was that he did the whole panel for that. He just kind of talked about all of his experiences with her, and they had a couple like messages from other people in there too.
Yeah. I still remember people jumped down Steve Martin's throat because he called her beautiful or something. It's weird how people get defensive about such innocuous stuff. But yeah, you learn a lot of weird stuff about people, famous people after they died. I had no idea she dated Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Oh no, the math doesn't add up for me either because she was like 23 in her famous prime, and Dan Aykroyd would have probably been about 36. So Dan Aykroyd was a kind of a player, I guess. Yeesh. I really wanted to see the tribute to her. I probably would have been mad if I went there and missed it. Her dog was there. Did you get to meet her dog?
No. Yeah, I honestly, I don't even think anybody. Well, I mean, they may have had a few people in the autograph area that day, but yeah. I know that since they were doing the Galactic Night at Disney, that a lot of the guests were over there.
Yeah. No, yeah. From what I understand, Friday, like every big person showed up, and like
the only person. Oh, so the only person I got to see on Saturday was Anthony Daniels was there.
He goes to every con though.
Yeah, he came in for when they're during the Disney Parks one because of him actually doing a lot of work with the Star Tours ride.
Yeah. He's like one of the more gracious cast members. I'd say
yeah.
Mark Hamill. But yeah, like Harrison was there, and you're never going to see him again at anything because he's either not going to live to see the next celebrations or he's just not going to go because he doesn't care anymore. He only really went because Carrie died, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah, even when I don't know if he was in more than one panel. The one I saw him in when I was just watching the videos, that it was just he didn't even stay the whole time. He just kind of left after his part.
Yeah, he kind of just wanders around. He's not big on the famous part of being famous.
Yeah, I remember he had some kind of like disagreement with George Lucas.
Well, he wanted to die in Jedi, which I kind of get. But Lucas is like, well, I can't sell toys of a dead guy. I'm even selling toys of Boba Fett for 30 years. But
they were just arguing about something where how he got to be involved with Star Wars, that I guess he had gone back to doing like carpentry or something since his acting career wasn't going very well, and then he was like out there fixing a door with George Lucas.
Then Lucas went up to him because he'd worked on American Graffiti, I think it was called.
That's what he said.
Yeah, and George was like, why don't you just come in here and do this?
But I guess
no one figured this would take off.
I guess the whole thing was George Lucas was saying about how he was like purposely out there waiting for him to try to get a chance. And then he was, arguing back with him that he was just doing work that he would never wait there for him.
No, like if you pay attention to Harrison Ford at all in public, he's not the kind of guy that's like eager to do things. Like he just likes to get high and stay at home apparently, and crash planes. He's done that I think 4 times.
Someone made some joke about him landing on I-4 or something.
Well, he's like 72. He really should not be flying planes anymore. But I do want to meet the actor who plays Chewie. I've heard he's really nice.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of just stuff I've seen online in general of him that was kind of amusing. He didn't really say too much during the one panel I watched.
Yeah, I guess when all your lines are overdubbed, it's hard to have any input on the scene. There's a whole cut of the movie where he speaks, like he has his normal voice, and all of Chewie's lines are written, and then they overdub it with the Wookiee sound. It's surreal, man. When you watch him, like he says, "Oh, this old man is crazy." You just said it, Chewie.
Really? It's kind of like how they did that with the Lord Zed suit that the guy was talking during it, and they dubbed over it.
Good old Zed. I can't wait till we do the Power Rangers one. I want to talk about Zed so much.
Yeah, actually, I guess this can be edited out, but I did actually go the other day just on Sunday. I went to see that Power Rangers movie finally.
Oh, well, we're going to do a full impression, but you can say if you liked it or not. I don't think anyone's going to mind.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the characters at all, but I feel like the movie itself wasn't that great, but I at least feel that there's maybe hope that the next movie might not be too bad now that they've done the introduction.
I'm kind of hoping they have an excuse to redesign the Zords.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, really, people argued with me because I was kind of talking about this before, that they just made the characters so emo, and they're like, oh, they're not emo, and no, they definitely are emo.
I think them being really cheerful, good teens is kind of like important because Power Rangers is a cheesy concept, even in Japan. They have to be like the super good paragons of virtue, or it doesn't work.
Trini was just the absolute worst. I mean, it's just.
I've heard Offset, Thithi Thang, Thithi Trang wasn't too nice either.
It's just her character was just she was just complaining about how her family was too normal and how they wouldn't accept her.
I think they were saying, but not outright saying, that she was gay, and I'm like, why wouldn't you make Billy gay to apologize to David Yost for the horrible treatment you gave him for freaking a decade? I don't know. Again, we'll get back to that. I have some issues with the movie too. Okay. So, any more about Celebrations?
I mean, I guess just more specifically on those two panels that I was going to mention. So that we just really didn't do a whole lot there. It was seriously just you had to wait in line for at least an hour or two before the panels to make sure you even had a chance of getting in the standby line.
That really sucks. I've heard that Comic-Con is like that too. And that's really one of the reasons I don't want to go to it.
Yeah, I went to the Denver Comic-Con a few years ago, but I didn't really do too many of the big panels since I mean, at least for me, I didn't really even know who half of the people were since it was
Denver, the off Comic-Cons, the big ones are New York and San Diego. The off ones, depending on how close they are to either coast, get better guests. Pittsburgh gets some decent stuff.
I was late getting there for it, but I was able to just walk in and sit down at the Jason Frank one that they had. So, I mean, you would think that one would be one of those standby people wouldn't have much chance getting in, but apparently.
Power Rangers at the time, you were there about 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, it's somewhere around there, I guess.
So they weren't as big. And he was an active ranger at the time, you're right, I think.
I don't know. I figured just because of the whole Tommy thing that no matter, even if you weren't really into Power Rangers now, that
I'm sure he got a good haul for. That was right before he did his UFC debut too. I think.
Yeah, I think actually at the time he was already doing it. When I don't know, it might have been even not as long ago as I feel like it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure now if he had a panel, you'd get a ton of people who just came off the movie high, and they would go see him.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised that
it was actually at the Pittsburgh Comic-Con this year.
Oh, really?
My friend Jelly got to meet him.
I don't know, no one seemed to be talking about the fact that he actually was even in that movie, the Power Rangers movie.
I don't think anyone noticed half the cameos. Everyone remembered Amy Jo Johnson, but I know he was in it. I don't know if anyone else was besides them.
Yeah, it was just the two of them. They were in that one scene together. It was kind of a split-second thing where they were just kind of with the crowd, so I guess it's possible. I don't know.
Apparently, they put the original April from the first Ninja Turtles movie and the second one, but they cut her out. I'm like, what the heck's the point of that cameo then, guys?
I guess we're getting way off Star Wars.
It's fine. We always do because the trailer's 2 minutes long. There's not going to be that much to talk about. But hey, it'll be a short episode for me to edit. That's fine. So I am going to start playing the trailer on mute. I don't know if you want to cue it up real fast, Steve, or not.
Yeah, I guess I might as well just because I know that they really didn't show a whole lot, but
there's still some neat stuff in here.
I saw one of the live streams they were doing where they were literally just looking at it frame by frame.
And yeah, there's one of those on here.
It's just like, holy crap, it's way too much detail.
I mean, I'll live. Most of this stuff they can change because it's all like CGI anyway, so they just probably put it in there for fans. Okay. You ready to go?
Yeah, I have it up.
Okay, I will press play now. Okay, let's see what happens. Stars. Okay, working on it. I guess I can turn up a little bit. I like the idea that she's met Luke and then he just threw her over a cliff. I know that's not what happened. This planet seems to only have the one island. I like that he's serious in training her at least. Even if he doesn't seem to want to.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I'm curious what happened to the helmet, because not only did it unmelt, but then he broke it.
Yeah, I something tells me that was just some kind of like a vision or something, not necessarily.
It has to be, you're right. That thing wasn't even black in the last movie, it was gray. I love how they're really curiously omitting the date. I don't know. The implication that Finn is still knocked out is kind of bad.
I only know one truth.
They're hiding the bottom of Kylo's face. I'm betting he's got a really nasty scar.
Yeah, I didn't even really notice, I guess, when I first watched it, him getting slashed like that. I don't know how I missed it. But
it's really quick, and honestly, the movie does a terrible job of implying that he got hit by a lightsaber. Because lightsabers don't make you bleed. They're super hot and they cauterize the wound, so he should have a really gross scar. But no, it looks like she cut him with a knife. Or he had a bloody nose. So, I don't know. Like, the interesting thing there is he says the Jedi are over.
Which, I don't really understand that at all, really.
Well, okay. The books have been kind of hinting towards this for a while, and there's some of it, what's her name? Ahsoka Tano from Clone Wars. Her lightsaber is white. She's not a Jedi or a Sith. She's a neutral Force user. Which opens her up to a bunch of cool powers and stuff, but like, I think the idea is to actually balance the Force. It just means you use it. It's not like a religious thing anymore.
The reason why I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking way too much into it. It's just more like the fact, just because that he was training Kylo Ren to be a Jedi, and then he, turned to the dark side, that it, Snoke already was out there, and, they had, so just because there's no Jedi doesn't mean there's not going to be anyone out there.
There's still going to be Sith.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't know how the Jedi really affect it in any way.
I think he's implying, as long as there's Jedi, there's going to be Sith. And I mean, Snoke is pretty smart about this. The Knights of Ren are Dark Jedi. They aren't Sith Lords yet. And it's Dark Jedi are kind of a cheat. Because they still have like a code of honor and stuff. Like Count Dooku was apparently a Dark Jedi, but that didn't end well for him. But I guess the thing is, Rey could be the one who actually brings balance to the Force and stops this stupid Sith Jedi nonsense. Because that's really what causes all the problems in Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see where it goes. It's just
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Is the Resistance still a thing now, or are they in open war with the First Order?
yeah. From the panel I watched online where they were just during the whole panel for The Last Jedi, they were saying that essentially where they are now, because of what happened with Starkiller Base, that the Republic is in a complete disarray and the First Order is taking full advantage of it. So it seems like that they're probably taking over all over the place, and then the Resistance definitely is still a thing. Like they were showing that the new character they introduced that she came out on stage, that her name's Rose. She's a mechanic that I guess she gets involved with Finn where during his whole part of the movie. It seems like she's going to be one of the, not necessarily main character, but she's going to definitely be a big support character.
Like she'd be the new Han, sort of. Well, maybe not the new Han, but I think they're kind of setting Finn up to be the new Han.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if, not that she necessarily would be similar to Lando, but he wasn't like a huge main character. He was kind of, I think it's kind of more like that.
Yeah, just for somebody for him to play off, because Rey won't be next to him for the most of the movie, and it looks like Poe is going to be busy too. So, Now this will also be. They didn't show Carrie Fisher, but we know all her scenes were finished. So I'm curious what they're going to do with her character.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if they were just saying it more in the sense of just during the whole like tribute to her, but I know that they were mentioning that we're going to be really surprised at and impressed by like what she does during this movie, but I don't know if maybe they were over exaggerating a little bit just because of the whole situation. But
well, the way I kind of think, because I know she did do some stuff for 9, but I don't think they're going to keep it. So I wonder if they changed her arc in this at all.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too if they're just gonna do something where like her character ends up getting killed off, where it's just kind of like an off-screen thing where she's just on some ship or something, and you find out that she was on there, or if now that after we've seen Rogue One, it's always possible they might just throw in another CG Leia.
I really hope not. I think it's one thing for Tarkin. His actor's been dead for quite a long time, but I think that would be. It's kind of still fresh with Carrie. And and she'd have to have a huge role in the movie. Like Tarkin was only in about 15, 20 minutes. She would have to be in a bulk of it. So I don't know how much that would work.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would only be if her role was completely done in the new one, and then in the last one that she just doesn't really have a main part, and they just kind of show her off in the background or something. It's like, oh, there she is. She's still alive.
I think if they really
Star
wanted
Wars,
they could kill her in this, but they probably want to avoid that. I guess we'll find out. But...
I mean, it does seem kind of extreme to have her get killed since they already killed Han, so it's like both parents. But I don't know.
I think they were kind of hoping that she'd make it through all three, but I wonder now if they're going to change, because it seems like Luke isn't too keen on fighting anymore. But also, they didn't tell us the date, so I'm really afraid this is going to be Christmas Day.
Yeah, I mean it just says this Christmas, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will be. But
it'll probably let me look, because it'll be the Thursday before.
It just sucks that I know Krista's probably most likely going to get to see the movie early, just like she did for Episode 7. And the last time it wasn't as big of a deal for me, since it wasn't more until after watching Episode 7 that I got like really more into it.
Yeah.
That now after the fact is kind of knowing if she gets to see this next one is going to suck.
I'm sure. Maybe she'll be able to get you a pass this time.
Well, I mean, it's not even. It wasn't even just because they're doing it again for the new Guardians of the Galaxy. It seems like
Oh.
every random movie that
Oh,
they
so
get to
it's
do
more
that.
like an employee incentive thing. Like, you guys
Yeah,
are doing great, so.
It's not even specifically Disney employees, but it's just her technology team that the guy who's in charge of that team has been able to get them hooked up with free tickets essentially.
That's cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's cool.
not so much for you, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool in general that she gets the opportunity to do that every once in a while.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Looking here, the latest Thursday they can put it is the 21st because Christmas is on a Monday this year. So yeah, we're looking at the last one came out on the 19th, I think. No, couldn't have been. But yeah, so yeah, the weekend of Christmas. That seems like the dumbest time to put it out, but they'll make the most money.
So as soon as they start taking pre-orders for tickets, I'm gonna have to jump on the Disney Spring one since for episode 7 they did a special thing where everybody got to go after the movie to Hollywood Studios for the Rock and Roller Coaster with Star Wars music. So they'll probably do something neat like that too.
I guess as soon as they announce the date, ticket pre-orders will probably be up. So I'm gonna have to look into that. I can't ask for the day off, though, is the only problem. Okay. So, I think that's it. You did you want to talk about the Disney park stuff, or?
Yeah, I mean, whichever order, because like I said, I kind of was really interested in a lot of the stuff they were talking about too with the Battlefront game.
Oh, okay, yeah,
well.
we'll talk about Battlefront too. I almost forgot. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to start on those, Steve.
Yeah, as I was saying kind of before we got started, it was just I was kind of interested in the first one that came out a little while ago, and then I just heard how it just wasn't worth it, so I didn't bother. But I was curious at least if this one was going to have any more story to it, so I sat in on the panel. Well, and I luckily got in on the panel, I should say. But it's just they definitely went way out with the story this time. Just not only is it just a story, but just it's such an interesting point of view because it's going to be about, I can't remember her name. It was, I don't know, I'd have to look it up, but this girl she's going to be the main character, that she is part of this, I need to probably look it up. I know it's like Inferno, I think it's the Inferno Squad. I know it's Inferno something. Let me just see really quick.
Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah,
Inferno Squadron. So, I guess they just call it Inferno Squad, but essentially they're special operatives team of these stormtroopers that are I guess the whole idea of the story is that they were also on Endor during the fight with where they were blowing up the second Death Star.
Yeah.
And so they're seen down on the moon fighting rebel pilot, or not necessarily pilots, but rebel soldiers, and then all of a sudden the Death Star explodes in the sky. And it's just like this whole scene of disappointment and her kind of renewing her vow to, take revenge for the Emperor and, take out the rebels for good. And so it takes place essentially between the end of Return of the Jedi to the beginning of Force Awakens. And it's kind of like her whole journey, as you're seeing it as like the Empire's point of view, like they're the heroes. So it's just kind of really like a neat take on, because they've never done that before with Star Wars. It's always kind of, you're looking at them as the bad guys. So not that they aren't necessarily doing good things, but, it's just kind of seeing their point of view of like the people that feel that the Empire is doing the right thing. And it's what's interesting too is not only just in the game has the whole story about this, but then they even have a whole novel that's coming out in July that takes place 4 years prior that gives a lot more backstory to everybody. Like this girl, her father is a huge person in the Empire that, he has a lot of kind of credits and things that he has done. And so her whole goal is, to be as important as he was. And they also, because one of the planets that you I guess play through, it's not necessarily like an open map type of thing. It's you're actually fighting inside a city, and that map is part of like I guess the world that she's from that was peacefully taken by the Empire. It wasn't where it's under their imperial control. Like they were people who felt that joining the Empire was the right thing to do. So it was kind of like a different sort of feel. I mean, there's like banners everywhere and stuff, but you don't see like the soldiers walking around. I don't know. It's just kind of like a really interesting setup, I feel like. And, I don't know, maybe they're over-exaggerating how much story is actually in there, but it seems like if they're spanning all the way through like 30 years or, of Star Wars there, that it would most likely at least have a decent amount of story to it, especially since they showed that, there's going to be a lot of scenes with Luke and Kylo Ren as well in there.
That should be interesting, though. I would expect those would be more towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure it is closer towards the end, but I'm just hoping they at least give some more kind of insight into Kylo Ren and like the First Order getting started, since they're still considered the Empire obviously at the end of the movie where the game starts.
I'm curious if this character is going to end up being Captain Phasma.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even really think about that. It's possible.
Might as well have her do something.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what her name was. Like I said, I'm sure it's out there. Not that it really matters.
I heard she's getting her own comic book, though, so that might conflict with it. Also, she'd be way too old.
Yeah. I mean, not even that. I don't have a problem with all the female characters, but I'm just kind of surprised. Like, I think that they're going a little overboard because they had not only Rey, but then in Rogue One they had Jin, and then they have now this girl.
I think it's going a bit far to call Jin a character, but no, I don't mind the female focus because a lot of little girls like Star Wars, and it doesn't have a lot of female characters. Like you can still literally count them on like one hand. So I'm fine if they add more.
Yeah,
as long as they're important to the plot and they do something.
Yeah,
like
I was.
No.
I was just kind of surprised that one after the other that they just kept doing it as the female lead over and over again. Now
I think Rogue One, it was unintentional. But yeah, I don't mind it in a video game, especially because there's never been a Star Wars video game with a female lead.
Yeah, I certainly don't have a problem with it. It almost seems like at this point it kind of seems like they're trying to cater.
I think it's more they're trying to catch up. Like, no, I did see some really funny posts. Somebody posted that he thinks it's unrealistic to play as a female soldier in Star Wars, and then he said, "I can't believe somebody with a thin waist would be able to throw all these guys around." And I'm like, I think you almost stumbled on maybe she should have a different type of body, but you don't quite get there. He was unintentionally progressive in his rant. But no, I don't mind. I've talked to a lot of people. I think Max Landis did a lot of damage with his stupid Rey is a Mary Sue comment. But no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it to me, as long as they matter. Like, I didn't like Rogue One. I think I was pretty clear about that. But, I can't say that Jin was a bad character because she was female. She was a bad character because they didn't know what they were doing with the movie. But Rey was well developed, and as much as people want to, like, tired of Obi-Wan or whatever, I don't think that's happening.
I'm a little concerned by what they were saying as far as because they didn't really want to talk obviously too much about the movie yet, but they did kind of confirm that Luke's going to have a pretty major role in the movie, so I hope he doesn't overshadow Rey.
I don't mind. I think people were just mad he was only in the end of the last one, so I think he's more going to be like her Han this time around. Like he's there to keep her calm and basically have her learn the Force but not be a Jedi. We'll see what happens. I don't want to leave him on that rock for the rest of the movie, though. That's for sure. So I hope he gets out there. Maybe he gets to pilot his X-Wing one more time.
I don't know, as far as the multiplayer in the Battlefront game 2, it sounded like, because I didn't really pay attention to the first one, how it was set up, but they were it looked like a lot of people were cheering about the fact that they're spanning all eras.
Yeah, the last one I think was only, I think, new stuff. There weren't many classic levels. But yeah, the multiplayer should always be just the best battles from the like last whatever movies.
And they were saying too that I guess I'm assuming that the other one was similar to this, where I guess you and your team, depending on what actions you take, that there's chances that you'll encounter characters like Darth Maul or Darth Vader and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, there's a power up system. If you find an icon on a map, they're usually pretty out of the way or hidden. You can grab it, and then you can become a story character, as it were. So you get to walk around as Vader, throwing people, or Yoda, things like that. It's pretty fun. They used to be just like summons, like an airstrike you could do, but it would be the character. But now you get to play as them.
And then they were also mentioning too, I guess as a pre-order bonus, that there are costumes for Luke and Kylo Ren for their Episode 8 outfits.
Oh. Well, Luke doesn't seem like he's changed his outfit at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm interested to see if Kylo gets like a new mask, or if he'll even change his outfit at all. Now that I think about it.
I wonder if he's even really going to wear the mask anymore.
Well, maybe to cover his scar, but I don't know. Like, he was wearing the mask because he wants to be like Vader. That doesn't seem like that changed.
At least, I guess, I can't really necessarily just go off the trailer, because, they showed him without the helmet, but doesn't mean he doesn't.
That just means he's in it. Like, these days, you can't have a masked character who doesn't take off their mask. It happens in every superhero movie. It happens in... because the actor wants their face out there. And I guess it works for Kylo to a point, but it's kind of a flaw, I think. Like, Tobey Maguire took his mask off in Spider-Man like every movie. It was horrible.
That was one of the things. I obviously hated the way the outfits looked in that Power Rangers movie, but the fact that they kept opening the face up.
Yeah, like, why would the hell? How does that work? No. Stupid helmets. But yeah, you get what I'm saying, though. They had to show these kids' faces, even though half the movie is them out of costume. You've seen their faces. You're not going to forget. It's so weird to me. So, anything else on Battlefront?
Yeah, so, that's pretty much it. It's just mostly, like I said, I'm kind of excited for seeing where this story goes, since it seems to, it seems like, even there was a scene during the trailer where she's talking directly with the Emperor, so it seems like she's pretty high up there already. So I'm just curious if the story
I don't know that it doesn't seem like the First Order is going to have like a female-led council or anything, but maybe she starts the First Order if she's going to be a loyalist through the whole game.
Yeah, it seems like that. Because they even say in Episode 7 that the First Order was born from the Empire. So obviously it wasn't. There's some kind of connection there, and she may be the one that does kind of create that connection.
Yeah, like maybe she builds a small army, and they find like the remnants, or what's going to become the First Order, and they become the military wing. That'd be neat.
I can't imagine that for the game, even though I'm sure obviously a lot more people play games today than back in the day, but I feel like that still would be, I can't imagine they would do anything seriously huge story-wise in there. Like, I can't imagine they would introduce like her meeting like Snoke or something, and how, because I think that would be too much story for...
Well, we still haven't seen Snoke in the movies, so no, I don't know. You're right, they probably wouldn't do that. All we've seen is his hologram. We haven't seen the person yet. And I assume he would be less wounded 30 years in the past. But yeah, you're right. They have to be careful. Like, all the books and video games are canon right now. So...
yeah, that was one of the very first things.
She could be one of those characters that's important or not, but not Like, no one's ever gonna wonder what happened to Ezra because he never met Luke. He did meet Leia though, which was weird.
That was just at the Battlefront panel. That was one of the very first things they said when they started the panel, that this story will be canon.
Wait, she knows Ezra. We'll have to do a Rebel show. I got some questions there. No, but well, I'm glad it's canon. And then if I ever figure out, well, I guess I can just get the Twitch app. Maybe I'll stream it when it comes out. If I can convince Pat to buy it.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be, because I know that the other one was for multiple systems. So
it says on the wiki, PS4 and Xbox One. I prefer it on the Switch because it sounds like it'd be fun to play single player, but it's EA, so I'm not gonna cross my fingers.
Oh yeah, that was something else that they did during it. It was for the PS4. I mean, that was the only system they showed at the time, but I can't imagine it's only on PS4.
Like I said, Wikipedia says Xbox One, so it should be.
Yeah, because they gave away, they had 4 exclusive PS4s that had kind of the Battlefront theming to it, and they gave 2 away at the panel, and they said to keep an eye on their social media for a chance to win the other 2. I don't know if they've done anything yet with that. I haven't checked.
I'm sure they'll do it a little closer.
I can't imagine it would be that easy to win, though, when it's the entire internet versus the way that they did it with the other 2 is they told us at the end to check under our seat, and if there was something under the seat there, it